All right, welcome to another episode of Corner Memoirs of the Service Industry. And this week we welcome Adam Hirbod to the show. Adam is a chef who's been primarily working in the pop-up scene here in Los Angeles for quite some time. The great thing about Adam, the reason why I wanted to bring him on, he's not a classically trained chef. He's had exclusively on-the-job training. Worked with some real great, notable chefs and cooks here in Los Angeles, and has, in my opinion, kind of really kicked ass in the fact that he's just really talented and eager to learn. And like kind of what we talk about is like, he doesn't have time to go back to school. He just wants to work and wants to cook and enjoys food. One of the things that we talk about that I thought was interesting, and I want to start to dive in more a little bit with some other guests, is Adam mentioned quickly like some of the toxicity that it happens when you work within a formal restaurant. The abuse these line cooks sometimes take from chefs, this verbal abuse, sometimes, definitely has its toll on some mental abuse stuff. And the thing that I commend Adam for is that he realized, hey man, that's not for me. But didn't let it deter him in chasing his dream, that is cooking. He's found a way to circumvent that bullshit and continue doing what he loves to do and what he's passionate about, and that is cooking. So I enjoyed thoroughly talking to him. He's a great guy. I've known him for years. I think you'll enjoy this conversation. So without any further ado, let's get into service, shall we? You're listening to Corner Memoirs of the Service Industry, a podcast set out to document the lives of those who work in service and hospitality. I'm Eric Chopo, and I'll be running the front of the house tonight. I'm a 22-year vet in the bar and restaurant scene and have worked and managed everything from Michelin star restaurants to dive bars and everything in between. I'm sitting down with members of our industry to talk about why they love doing what they do and share some stories along the way. Around every corner is a new story, a new hire, and a new experience. All right, Adam, how you doing? The broke chef is in the house, folks. How we doing?
What's up, you animal? I'm good, man.
It's been a minute.
It's been too long.
I know.
It's been too long.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
So for those who don't know, Adam Hirbod, aka the broke chef. Hey man, before we get into it, where'd that name come from, the broke chef?
Oh man, I'm broke as shit, but I cook good food, so that's a cute thing that I got going for me.
Nice, dude. So Adam, I've been following, I've known Adam for years, but following him on social is _ broke chef is killing it right now with the food you're putting out is awesome.
Thank you.
Mainly what you've been doing, correct me if I'm wrong, but mainly what you've been doing, I guess over the past, year or so, a couple of years before COVID, has been pop-ups, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So for those who don't know, it's like, you take over a spot or you're throwing a party in somebody's backyard. Tell me about it.
Yeah, it's like, I don't think there's any real formula to it. I don't know. The best way I could describe it is just like pure fucking luck.
Yeah.
And the fact that like people are, I think, genuinely good. For instance, I had a good homegirl, Amy Kofsky. I hope I'm pronouncing that correct. She was over there at Kettle Black before they had closed down.
Okay.
And she had like reached out earlier. This is just like a isolated, not incident, but a situation where she was like, "Hey, I know you're cooking. You need to do a pop-up. Like, here's what we need. And beyond that, it's all you." And, I had a really awesome team. Richard Contreras, he was doing a lot with Bavel, and Jasmine Duboscus, that's the night off team. That was one of the things that I was doing. And basically it's just like fucking pirate ship situation. Like, let's scramble together, make a menu, recipe test, basically just kick it with friends the entire day and cook food.
So
and then, yeah,
I wanted to get to night off here in a sec, but since you brought it up, I correct me if I'm wrong. Night off to me seems like a bunch of, for the most part, working line cooks, sous chefs, what have you, who just on their night off are throwing these pop-ups somebody's backyard, taking over a spot that's closed. Is that correct?
Yeah. So it was like night off to me was like a perfect storm situation because we have that core team was Richard, just fucking front of house mastermind, dude. Like you felt in good hands. Jasmine, a pastry wizard. Like she's like so fucking talented. Like just the amount of talent there too. It's like, first of all, keeps me on my toes where I'm like, dude, I don't fucking belong. You guys are so fucking good. Like what the fuck? Why are you even here with me? But then you tell yourself to shut up. You dial in the menu. I was doing like the savory, but like we all did everything for the most part.
Yeah.
It was like a perfect storm situation. I miss those guys.
That's awesome.
So, yeah.
So, all right, we'll get, I want to step back a bit. All right. You know, I've known you for a minute. You were pretty much running from what I could gather, Mumford Brewing Company. You were at least, as far as their social was, you seemed to be their main guy outside of, you know,
I was a bit of a face.
Mumford himself, you know what I mean? Like
right.
You know, so, you know, you were a mainstay. Yeah. Shout out to Peter Mumford holding it down. But you were a mainstay of that tap room.
Yes, that was home. That was home for many years. And I fucking loved that place. That was one of the, talk to me. So
I was saying, not to go back a little bit further. The point I'm trying to get is you didn't go to culinary school, right? You didn't, cooking is just a passion of yours.
I loved food, and I'm a bit of a masochist, as you know, the industry kind of draws in. It was, I think, the first thing was I was working front of house at Belcampo downtown. Mm-hmm. I had just moved there. Long story short, it was one of those things where I was just like, I'm fucking so done talking to people. Like front of house is just like I could care less about how you feel about this certain thing. This is delicious. You should eat it. So just kind of ran with that mentality. And I was lucky enough to, again, I think it's like, I don't want to say success, but like whatever I have right now, and I'm really pumped about it, like where I've been and all this stuff, is literally just, I am so fucking passionate about things. Like if I care about anything, it's like a sickness in a positive way, but also, you know, masochism does rear its head in funny ways. But I was like, I told the chef one day, I was like, dude, I want to cook. I want to, you know, show me everything, you know. Turned into like one of these things where like I was just fucking soaking everything up, and hilariously full circle, the dude that taught me everything I know about running the line, or at least the initial seed that was planted, Jose Rivera. And I work with him now at Standings. Okay. So boss man at the time was Jared, and then we're flashing forward here a little bit, but it's just funny how shit works like that. But no, I am absolutely not trained.
Right. So, I mean, look, on the job training is something to be said, right? I mean, the story is you can take a dishwasher and turn him into a cook over 20 some years, right?
The most chingon motherfuckers are usually that.
But I mean, okay. So Belcampo was, I guess, a little bit before I knew you, or maybe right around the time, but I just the leaps and bounds I've seen you take in the past, say 4 years. Like you're working with tops in the industry, like people like I recognize, like you mentioned, you name checked Bevel. Bevel is one of the, you know, was one of the top new restaurants in LA. You know, it's you know, that Bestia, well, it's Bestia crew, right? Like it's those guys.
Bestia first. Yeah. They crushed it so fucking hard that they're like, you know what, we got to do this. So
I always get Bestia and Kitchen Factories in my head, like confused every now and then.
It's like the same area though.
In the same area, and they came out the same fucking year, like sure. So you know, pedigree. Bestia should be well known for anyone listening to the show. Like, you know, Bon Appetit's talked about it ad nauseum, but
they're so sick.
So you have great on the job training from some people who are just killing in the game. I mean, how lucky is that, dude? Like you're just like killing it.
And that was the big thing too. I realized that, like, I don't know, to stop what I was doing, whatever fucking trajectory, whatever the fuck you want to call it. But I was like, there's not a chance in hell that I'm going to be able to sidestep into like taking time to go to culinary school. So surround yourself by chingones.
Yeah.
Surround yourself by fucking badasses, people that absolutely just live, breathe, shit, sleep, wake up, do it again situation. And I'm so fucking grateful, bro.
Yeah.
Like, it's so insane. Like, I'll cook something and I'll nail it, and I'll remember like that person that was like right then and there, like, who was like, no, don't do this, fucking idiot. Do it this way because it's way quicker. You get a better, or whatever, you know? So it's like those moments, you know, take that shit to the grave. I'm so grateful. Like, it puts a smile on my face just thinking about it.
So, I mean, dude, I feel you in a lot of it. I feel like, you know, the satisfaction if I just cook Gina a good meal and she's like, she pulls an Elaine Bennis.
Shout out Gina.
And she slaps me. She's like, what the fuck? Like the other night I just did some Korean fried rice, you know, spicy Korean fried rice. And she loved it. So I understand on a small level. I can't imagine if you're doing one of these pop-ups, like you're manning you know, the grill, you're seating 20, 30 people in somebody's backyard. Yeah. You're responsible for every bite, you know, any grill bite that they're getting, like, and exactly. You just look out and, you know, I worked a couple of pop-ups. I've seen that where it's for those who haven't been able to go to a pop-up in like a low key setting, like a backyard or like taking over a warehouse, not in a restaurant setting, but like, you know, those real home down ones, it's a communal event. Like, everybody's sharing in this experience. There's an atmosphere. And you guys are as big as part of the show as much as the food is, like, you know.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, tell me about like how you started getting into like the ghetto barbecue, the live fire grilling in the backyard. I see you breaking out the swords and throwing some meats on there. Like,
oh fuck, dude. That, you know, honestly, it came to this point where I don't know what it says about me personally. It's like something that I try to dig deep on every day and just like meditate on. But I get over shit sometimes. Mm-hmm. And like, for me, it was like, you know, obviously the kitchen's super abusive and, you know, you got to be cut from a certain cloth to make it. And it was like super heartbreaking and crushing that I was like, fuck, I don't know that that's me. I don't know that I have the wherewithal to like stick with this. And also, like, for a 6'2", 6'3", whatever man, like, you know, I'm very sensitive. I'm a sensitive dude. And it came to the point where I would get yelled at for shit, you know, dumb shit. Like, I wasn't the best blind cook ever. Okay. Like, you know, but like, you know, I'm getting talked to in my face, being called names. And I'm like, here's the thing, bro, I'll fucking hit you. So like, maybe don't. And then I'm just like, you know what? Like, I don't want to take that energy home with me. So I bounced, cut to Mumford, gave me the time and the space to breathe. So like, really just remember that I fucking love cooking. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, you know what, if I'm going to do it, it's going to be as close to my terms as possible. And I still, you know, whatever fine dining bug that I had at the time still carried over, because it's like, I want to do everything as best as possible, best ingredients, best execution. And, you know, life is super funny because, you know, a big idol of mine is Francis Malman, and, you know, very notable Argentinian chef. And just through the channels of my upbringing, a really, really close friend, basically my brother, his family, very much Argentine, and good friends with him. So I remember I saw homeboy cook live. I saw Francis Malman in my homie's backyard. Yeah. And wow. Like, homie's dad, shout out Adolfo Suaya, you're a legend. His backyard was like overlooking this super fucking crazy view of LA. They had a Balvenie whiskey tasting. Okay. I'm like 21, 22. And I see the brigade of gauchos that he's got. He's like, homie's not even fucking talking to them. He's like waving, like almost like his fingers like a fucking feather. Like, he's the most poetic. Like, honestly, like, he could be perceived as a douchebag, and some people call him that, but you know, you see the man get down and the shit that gets executed with very little words. And I'm just like, oh, okay, maestro, cool.
Yeah.
But I saw the fire. I saw the open fire. I saw that he's throwing tomatoes right into the flames, which is something that, you don't let fire really like touch the shit.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, unless that's like what you're going for. And I think, one of the fucking godfathers of like fiery foods, and that stuck with me to this day. And I was lucky enough to land this really sweet fucking back house situation at my homie Killian Suarez, the son of Adolfo. His grandma's back house, backyard. Another Argentinian legend. Shout out Farida. Her grandson moved into the front house because she lived in Argentina for most of the year. But homie, shout out Luca. Luca's like, yo, bro, like we need to build a grill.
There you go.
And I'm like, God, the fuck? Yeah, let's fucking go.
A couple cinder blocks, a couple steel grates.
Oh, dude. And then it's just, once it was finished, it was just like, all right, what are we cooking tonight?
Yeah.
And then, so that was the grill story. Some shit happened and I actually had to move out from that situation, but I'm really grateful that I still have access to that thing. Cause it's a beast.
Yeah.
But I just knew like, if I do anything again, like it's going to have to be with open fire, like the next situation.
I have limited experience with open fire myself, but I appreciate the artistry of it. It's more by feel at that point, right? Because the fire,
sure.
When you're cooking on a grill, you're raising and lowering the meat and you're controlling the temperature. But when you have, a pile of sticks and an actual flame, it's a little different in that aspect. You're kind of playing jazz at that point, right? It's you're just kind of going off of instinct and feel. And so,
absolutely.
You might slightly overcook something, you might serve something slightly under, but like it's, as you learn, the more you do it, the more you can, I have the highest appreciation for it because, I've always wanted to do that. I want to go out by the water and start a fire and just nail some fish to a plank and just kind of prop it up 20 feet away from,
totally fucking do that.
Yeah, dude. I'd be down. That sounds like a blast to me. I don't like camping by any means, but if I do camp, I know I'm going to eat like a motherfucker if I do,
Oh, dude, that's the whole thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm one of those people that I love camping. I love the outdoors. I think it's like, it's the most wholesome, free thing you can do. Depending on where you go, obviously you got to pay for campgrounds and shit, but aside from that, but I swear to God, man, once you jump in and you light that fire and you see that fire just like slowly growing and growing and growing, and you're like, oh shit, I'm responsible for that fire. That's fucking cool. And then you just see what you got, like what you brought, or like, like obviously the fire, God, I'm going to sound like such a fucking pretentious douchebag. The fire tells you what the fuck it wants.
Yeah.
Like it calls for heaping portions of meat. It calls for vegetables and like lots of oil and lots of like things to like whip like there's a thing in like Argentine cooking, like it's called salmuera, which is literally just super salinated water.
Okay.
And basically you take like a sprig of rosemary that you've like whipped the fire with first to just like kind of get it started, activate the oils and shit. And you dunk it in there and you just start brushing. It's like nature's brush. And It's just, it's one of those fucking intangibles, but it's like, you can't not once you know it, it's maybe the most like addicting feeling too. Like I fucking love it.
How could you go back to just coals at that point, stovetop? I mean, look, I love stuff. I'm a sucker for a cast iron any day, but you can do that on a campfire as well. You don't need to do that on your stove. All right. So you're making your way through the pop-up scene. You're getting on the job training. The thing about pop-ups, right? That inevitably in the world of pop-ups, you're going to start getting Hollywood calling, because that's the big thing, trying to extend the life of their properties.
Yeah.
Cut to movies, man. Tell us about how that came to be. How you went from flipping burgers from movies.
Oh man. That's a cool one. So before movies, just to get the timeline straight, it was a pop-up called Secret Lasagna by a really dear friend of mine, Royce Burke. Fucking sweetest man I've ever met.
Right.
So flashback a little bit. He had reached out. Well, my now like one of my best girlfriends, Alyssa Nui. She had reached out to me being like, hey dude, like, do you have any interest in cooking this festival? And like, long story short, this huge ordeal. We're cooking for Camp Flog Gnaw, this like the taco situation, like stall. And I'm meeting to this day, like some of my best friends. Like it's literally getting paid to hang out and cook, do this thing that you fucking love. And fucking beer is a part of it. That's fucking sick. So like, you know, these friendships are forming. Long story short, again, we finish up on that. Everyone stays in touch. We're all like super close. Everyone's doing their thing. Life is normal. Everyone's fucking pumped. COVID-19. Everyone stay the fuck inside. Yeah. I get laid off from Mumford, unfortunately. And I'm fucking jobless. I'm like, shit. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And like, you know, I have some homies that are like, yo, so should we like figure out some like street side situation? And I'm like, in my head, like, fuck, that sounds tight, but fuck that.
Right.
That's stupid. Don't be dumb.
Yeah.
Be smart, not dumb. Or at least try. And I forget, it feels like, looking back on it, I feel like it was completely out of the blue, like a bit of a godsend moment. Royce or Alyssa, I forget who exactly it was. They reach out. They're like, "Yo, boo, trying to come work. Like, how you doing? What's your situation?" Let them know exactly what's going on, and then like it's literally just this. It's that same crew from Camp Flog Gnaw that I love and adore, right. And just they're like some of my best friends ever. And we're doing this, and it's super fucking cool because like alongside of it there was like a market, and there's like super simple like prep first, then like quick fire situation. So like everything's super easy going, and everyone has a check, and a good portion know us without you. So we're like, have you heard of that? You know that foundation? The charity. So we're helping to feed families in this like super pressing time. It was super dope. And then it's one of those things. I'll be honest, it was like it felt like I was kind of coasting a little. And then I'm a huge Kevin Smith fan. Like that the whole like Jay and Silent Bob franchise, like it resonated with me from very, very early on. And then I heard rumors that like, oh, movies. I just kept hearing movies. Like I'll be like keeping my head down. The fans above the grill or the stove were like buzzing, and I just hear like movies out of the corner of my ear.
All right, so you're already cooking, like setting up and prepping, and you're hearing this. Like you didn't even know what the gig was. You said I'm gonna cook with my homies.
Yeah. So like it was ran out of the space. Another fucking legend who I love very, very dearly, Derek Barry, who had done previously. He was like the Saved by the Max, and forget there's another pop up in there. Don't kill me, Derek. Sorry. And fast friends with that cat, and you would see Royce Andre, who I will always butcher his last name, unfortunately, who was the Psalm at Mod. Super legend as well. And like I would just see, like the line faced, obviously, like most lines, there's the pass, and then where like just people go to and fro from the front of the house to the back. And they would like congregate kind of off to the side, and I would see that, and I would see them, and I would just I'm actually pretty much fucking deaf in my left ear, so I'm really good at reading lips. And you can even see like through the fucking mask, like it's like, oh, I heard movies. I know for fucking without a shadow that everyone has masks up.
Yeah.
But like, like
You're
everyone
like,
was getting COVID tests.
your ears perk up. You're like, I know what that is. It's movies.
Oh.
All right.
So yeah.
So was it
very?
Did it start like a ghost kitchen? It seemed like it seemed like online the presence was like it was just doing delivery, or did they set up a brick and mortar eventually for it?
So it's like a COVID brick and mortar.
Okay.
It was like right around the time. It was unfortunate just only because like I love those cats so fucking much. And I had like just landed the job at the butcher shop, and that was something that I've been wanting to do throughout my entire cooking career. And long story short, they had just released the guidelines for al fresco dining.
Yep.
Fucking outdoor get down.
Yep.
And they had like a little barricaded little patio. So that was like the extent of it, like as many tables as they could safely situation. So that I would say is the brick and mortar side of it. But, obviously a great deal of it is going to be Postmates and the delivery services.
Yeah, dude, it's weird right now. Like, so let's get into it, right? So, all right, we're in the middle of COVID. We still can't have people dine in. Things are happening in the streets. I know a lot of people have been resorting back to pop-ups, and not that I want to like do a pop-up show, but I have another really good friend of mine, Michael Stempner, who I'm trying to get on the show. Michael, I've talked to him several times. I talked about him several times. He ran a sushi dinner out of his loft, SB Towers downtown. So it was called Sushi Belly Tower, SB Lofts. And he ran this underground sushi dinner for years. He took it on the road all over the country. Now he owns a bar and restaurant in Brooklyn called Pony Boy, and they're just starting to reopen again. So I see the transition for it. We're in the middle of COVID. What's next for you? I know you're working at the butcher shops. Things kind of came full circle a bit, starting in Belcampo, which is a butcher shop for those who don't know. They also serve food. Now at this butcher shop, you serving as well? Is there meals to be had, or is it strictly
not right now?
Yeah.
For those that don't know, Standings Butchery is known also kind of in tandem actually for burgers by Standings. So, in my opinion, pound for pound, even before I worked there, like some of the best quality meat you could possibly get in Los Angeles. Mm-hmm. And, a big obvious is, within a butcher shop, you accrue a lot of beef trim. So, what are you going to do? You can make a beef sausage, and those are cool. We do that now.
Right.
And they're delicious. However, like the real awesome, like kick in the pants, like how do you win format is like you make burgers. Mm-hmm. And they got super huge, and just due to a like very specific chain of events, it had stopped for a second, and then COVID hit. So at the moment, no, there's no food, prepared food at the shop. Sure. It's all raw takeaway, go home, cook it yourself. And a really awesome part too is like the best of like making the best of the situation is that everyone that works there knows what the fuck they're doing. Okay. Like I'll even hear like just customers coming in, talking to the other people. I'll be doing whatever my task is at the moment. And they'll talk about like, oh, here's a rack of lamb. Cause everyone comes in asking for lamb chops. And that's the first fucking thing that goes because, we're whole animal butchery. Yep. And within that, there's so many pros to it. The one big con is there's only so many fucking tiny little ribs in a small animal. But like, you'll hear that, and that'll be a brilliant jumping off point to be like, here's a rack of lamb ribs. Have you ever done that before? And, you go into the conversation, no, usually. And it's like, wrap that shit tightly in tin foil, throw it in the oven really low for like 4 to 5 hours, basically, depending on how your stove is or your oven is. Pull that out, throw it in the broiler. Slather any sauce you want on there or don't. Let it go, just salt. And you just hear these things that like are like super sick ideas, and like just me with the chef brain or the cook brain. I'm like, oh fuck, God, I can't wait for shit to fucking just be like somewhat normal. Cause like, I'm going to do that. I'm gonna do like a lamb McRib sandwich or some shit. Like
it's funny. I never thought of it that way to get ribs because I guarantee you,
oh, dude,
if you your local supermarket, if they do get, there are supermarkets. I mean, there are maybe not like Vons or Safeways or whatever. But there are markets you have that are local that are doing, actual on-site butchery that they're probably chucking those ribs because nobody buys them. Yeah. It's like it's like fish collars. So what Michael taught me was fish collars. You can go to any fishmonger in any market and they will give you collars for free for the most part.
How fucking tight is that?
For the most part. They can't sell them. I mean, the ones who are in the know and they know that they got bluefin collar and they can sell it at a premium because it's bluefin. Sure, but you can go in and get some salmon collars and roast those up and make some of the best salmon.
That shit is breathtaking.
And it's something that people just don't know. It's like the cheeks and the pig. We all know that's good for curing, but dude, do you remember Lazy Ox back in the day?
Fuck yeah. Okay. Shout out Joseph Centeno.
I worked at Lazy Ox and we had I was an expo there at Lazy Ox, and we had like I think Tuesdays or Thursdays we had suckling pig as the family meal. So the concept was this gastropub, and there was one large meal a day. So there's small bites, and then you could order this big thing. Suckling pig was like say every Thursday, and I watched them butcher this thing, and I saw all these pig heads sitting in the back, and I pulled the cook aside. I go, "What are you guys doing with those heads over there?" And he goes,
"What the fuck is going on here?"
He goes, "Nothing. We don't." I go, "Can I eat?" And I was pointing at the cheek because he didn't speak all that good English. I go, "Can I have this?" And he was an Asian dude. He didn't quite he should have known, but I don't think he knew. And I like pull it out and I'm like, "Here, try it." And we're eating at the same time, and his eyes just went.
How fucking dope is that moment? I live for that fucking moment. Yeah. I swear to fucking Christ, dude.
So
that is
every week we were just pulling that shit out and making little sandwiches out of them and shitting them back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, dude. I mean. Yeah, I have some like my brain is like just spinning right now thinking about all the OG fools that have like helped teach me. Like there was this cat, Dave and Waite. He's down there in Oceanside at a restaurant called Wrench and Rodent, and my ex from that area. So like anytime we would go down there, I would just do anything I could to get over there. And I'll never forget, bro. Like we sat down like the first time we came there. Like I talked to the guy, and like we were just talking shop, shooting the shit. And we ended up ordering the omakase, like just the chef's choice situation. And he was like, "You eat everything?" I was like, "Chef, I eat absolutely fucking everything." And he's like, "Okay." And then like, he just blows my mind. But then flash forward within the ethos of like zero waste, like he's over here, like he makes a banana peel barbecue sauce. Like, "Chef, like I just want to shake you with love." Like that's so insane. I love that. That's so tight. But I absolutely also just forgot where I was going with that. But
it's all right, man.
Dude.
I'm for trying everything.
Yeah,
it's a little tricky, right? So Gina is deathly allergic to shellfish, like lobster, crab, shrimp.
I remember that at Artisan House.
Crawfish. So it is tricky to be adventurous together.
Right.
Doesn't mean that I'm not sometimes going off on my own and just being like,
scoot a bar stool down.
But, growing up in DC, Maryland area, like crabs are a way of life.
Crabs, baby.
And I always joke, she always like, "Oh, you can just go get them." And I go, "You don't understand that. Like, I'm going to get down on like a dozen medium to large size crabs. And at the end of it, no amount of wet wipes and hand washing is going to get all of this crab residue off of me. It's going to take about 2 showers before I can touch you again.
I need a pressure washer, a priest, and a 12-pack of beer.
Yeah.
Stat.
Oh, dude. Little side note. I'm stoked on this. That Yingling, my favorite beer,
so good,
is coming to California.
Shut the fuck up.
So despite what you want to think about it, Yingling, one of the oldest brewery in the country, independent brewery, has teamed up with Molson Coors to handle the distribution. So knowing what I know about beer working in breweries, and you do too.
Yeah.
That means Yingling is going to be brewed here in Los Angeles.
Oh.
And I don't know how I feel about that because it's not going to be Yingling from
You need that water,
Pennsylvania.
bro. You need the fucking water.
So we'll see how it goes. I have a feeling it's going to be.
I don't know anything.
I have a feeling it's going to be way too sweet.
Right.
But
isn't that shitty?
It's going to be what it is.
God,
you know,
a fucking handful of salt in like a really nice dream. That analogy doesn't really play, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. But I'm looking forward to that because then I could get down on some like, you know,
oof.
Look, I'll be home in a second, right? So like I have my Yingling and I'll fry some fries up and I'll just douse them in Old Bay and malt vinegar and I'm back at the boardwalk in Ocean City. So
and that's what it's about.
Yeah.
Whatever that moment means so much to you because that's happened to you at some point. That was like really fucking cool.
Yeah. I mean, that's the great thing about food, man, right? It's just, it transports you.
Cheers to that.
I'll drink it there. Cheers. So you caught the bug. You've been fortunate enough to learn on the job with some, amazing cooks.
Yeah.
What's the long-term goal? I hate to be cliche and say no, where please. Do you see yourself in 5 years? But like, where do because you talked about it. Like, let's be honest. I've had the same issues you have, and I haven't been the one in the line getting yelled at, but I've been in situations where I've been worked for asshole bosses or chefs rather.
Mm-hmm.
One, I'll never understand fully. I'll understand a little bit, but I'll never understand fully that mentality of being a dick.
The toxic chef.
Because you came up with the guy with the dick. And I can only really make the analogy to film production.
Right.
It used to be in the camera department, but you were second assistant camera, you were film loader, then a second assistant, then a first assistant, and then you were a camera op, and you worked your way up and you paid your dues. And when you were a first assistant camera op, and they had 120-pound cameras on their shoulders, and when the director said cut, that guy is dropping that camera behind him, and if you're not there to catch it, it's your ass. So I understand that growing up in it, that some along the way, you ended up working in the modern era for assholes.
Right.
But I won't understand as a 24-year-old guy who happens to be, above me, who's a camera op, treating me like an asshole because I've had the same moment with you. It's like, dude, I'm a grown man. I will knock your ass out. Like, don't throw a fucking camera at me.
Fucking fast, homeboy. Like, don't even play that shit.
So, I mean, no bravado at all. Just kind of like be a decent human fucking being. Like, we're all in this together.
Right.
So that's one. Two, I do understand the notion of kitchens being run like the military, and the military's job is to beat you, break you down to build you back up.
Lose your identity and fucking pick up another one.
And when you're working at top of your game, that's what chefs demand. They go, we all have to be working in unison as one, and it's not your ideas, it's my ideas, and it's collective vision. I get that. What I don't see is enough building one back up. Right? I don't see them building you back up. They might take you out and pat you on the back and buy you a beer or something, but it's not the same thing.
Constant fucking leg sweep.
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
So I get that. Where do we go from there, man? You not traditionally trained. You didn't go to culinary school. You aren't from Cordon Bleu. You're not a French trained chef. You have great instincts and a love for food. What are you going to do with it? Where do you go next?
Oh man, that's the toughest question to answer. I don't even know. It's one of those things too, where it's like, I'm like trying to live in the moment right now. Cause my brain tends to flay out in like just weird, unnecessary ways where it's like, I'm not actually being present. So like at the moment, I don't even know where to go with that question. It's one of those things where I think ultimately I want to do like little small things here and there. If I was going to stay with food, like ultimately, here's the thing. I'm trying to do like, I don't know. Voice acting has been a thing that I've actually been trying to dabble in recently. But that being said, like and that's just because right now I see how much work gets put in. And I'm trying to like value my time more.
Right.
And I'm trying to, I struggle with streamlining things because I do get so obsessive and I see everything really up close. I have trouble viewing things in a larger scope. But that being said, like, let's say like best case scenario, I get a ton of money doing voiceovers. Like I would still absolutely love to open up, like, as douchey and fucking hipsters as sounds, like a fucking like shipping container little fucking situation where I'll build a exact, if not better, little brick grill. It'll be outdoors.
Right.
String lights, fucking make it look super cute, but it'll be just like whatever the fuck it's like, oh, it's Wednesday, cool. I feel like making ribs.
Awesome.
We're making ribs today, so I'm gonna get up at 5 a.m. and just start the whole process and make a fuck ton of it.
Look,
and like,
I think where food trucks started. I mean, you can, depending on who you talk to, what came first, chicken or the egg, food trucks or pop-ups. I think pop-ups have always been a thing.
Right.
I'm a big fan of them. I think LA doesn't have enough of them. Mm-hmm. And I know, like in my hometown of DC, that you don't open a restaurant until you've done pop-ups for a solid year.
Fucking A.
Like, and that's with investors backing your pop-up. It's not like it's they demand it out of you. Like every great chef, every great restaurant started in somebody's backyard, feeding people in somebody's house, taking over a spot. I think at least like some of the, former number one restaurants in the country out of DC did that. I think that, you can treat a pop-up like, even if it's just like literally on the street. I mean, some of the best food, as you know, here in LA is some family just making tacos for 6 hours on the street. Man. Like some of the best 100%. Meals I've had have been that. I'd like to see people, now that they've legalized it or starting to move that more in a direction of legalization. I'd love to see people move away from the fucking truck, dude, and take what that show on the road a bit. Have
you ever worked on a truck before? Have you ever seen like the situation that it is? I mean, it's like shout out to every fucking kitchen, like food truck working person. It is like, I've worked in small kitchens before. I've worked in like basically closet sized kitchens before. There is nothing like, cause like also you have to take into account the elevation of the streets too. And I've seen some absolute wizardry done as to how to level shit. Like, dude, I'm like blanking on it right now, which is fucked up. But, anyways, shout outs to those fucking, those geniuses. And I'm totally there with you. Like, I think right now with everything, like you're going to see some real hardcore creativity.
I would hope so, man. Like,
like
got people sitting at home for 6 months doing nothing.
Right. And everyone's fucking over it. And like, here's the thing, as much as I fucking can't stand like the maskless idiots out doing life without the mask and like whatever opinions you may have about it, because it's like it's annoying as shit, because it's like, dude, it's not about your discomfort, it's about like not spreading a fucking potentially lethal and highly contagious virus. It's one of those things that like everyone's over it. And I know like the whatever business, and I don't have a lot of like business acumen at all. That's my biggest problem, I think. But like still like what little I have in my goddamn head is like, bro, we got to get out there because people are fucking over it. It's coming to the point now we haven't seen this like third or fourth wave or whatever like is inevitably about to happen because people are just like loosening the reins. Mm-hmm. But that fucking little like hustler in my head is like, all right, bro, like let's get on this fucking street, like,
I mean, look, and we have the opportunity to reinvent the wheel as well.
Oh, dude.
I've not necessarily
so hot,
not necessarily
so sexy.
I haven't talked so much on this show because I haven't had the right people on to talk about it. But I've talked privately with people. It's just like this industry, the food industry and restaurants have been doing it for hundreds of years the same way,
right?
The French way. This is the norm of how we do things. Yet you look at a city like Los Angeles, 1 month in of no sales, they're reporting 60% of restaurants are going to close. 1 month. That means how good were you doing if 1 month of nothing, you're closing up shop? That means you weren't actually doing good. You were as we know, restaurants are run on razor thin margins, scraping by to get, like I said, I worked at a restaurant. It was, a fucking 10 million, 20 million, 10 million, I think more, a year place. The place would just fucking make hundreds of thousands of dollars a week in revenue. And every month or every 2 weeks, it was a stress to get payroll out. You know what I mean? Like we collectively as an industry haven't been doing it correctly. We've just been doing it the way it's always been done. And, I enjoy eating on the street. I like my place is a restaurant. It's a bar and a restaurant. And we're closed because we could be open, but half the appeal of Clayton's is the inside bar, and I can't let people inside right now.
For sure. Like, and that must be fucking heartbreaking.
Look, I love to serve you fish and chips, and I loved it, but like the idea of the people coming in just getting fish and chips, I'd be naive to think that ours are going to just literally get hundreds of people to show up, right?
Right.
They'll get like 20 or 30 people show up, which is great, but the other 20 or 30 or 50 people that I want to sit at the bar and drink, and I can't have those people in right now. So
I legally cannot allow you to do this.
So the point being is that, yes, restaurants can operate, but a lot of places aren't operating. There's a lot of people in our industry out of work.
Right.
You have this pop-up background, man. Let's change the game, bro. Let's do fine dining on the streets and not like in a truck,
No. And that's like kind of in the works right now too. My main focus is learning this new craft that I've been so grateful to, or so fortunate, lucky, grateful, all those really awesome things. Like, I have so many awesome people doing everything they can to teach me as fast as they can too, just because of how busy we are too during COVID at the butcher shop. And it's something that I've wanted to do since, I worked at Belcampo. So, flash forward, here I am, like, let's fucking go. But a real apparent driving little conversation that I'm having in the background with like a lot of really close friends that are all industry cats and all chingons, all badasses in their right. Everyone's like, okay, so you ready? You fucking ready? Cool. I'm ready. You good? You want to, we should talk about that. Cool. Let's meet up at a park or something. And I'll bring the beer, bring some fucking whatever food, snacks or shit. I have a little tiny fucking fire grill, charcoal grill. Yeah. Let's bring that shit. Fuck it. Whatever. And, shit is in the works, like very slowly and surely. Cause that's like, I don't know. It seems a little counterintuitive just because of how uncertain everything is right now. But at the end of the day, I feel like if not now, when, got to execute shit right. Cause like, I don't know. And that's just a guess too. Like,
I mean, you're not off, right? So think about it, right? The biggest expenses that a restaurant has, rent, because these commercial spaces are asking insane amount of money for it, especially in Los Angeles. So rent.
Oh my God, it's insane.
And then your labor cost. So you eliminate two things right off the bat, right? You have no servers. It's a walk-up counter service essentially, and on the streets. You have no rent because you just pay for the permit to be up on the street. Exactly. You take over some area, guerrilla warfare. You go back to the old school, like the Koja truck used to tweet you where it was going to be because it's never the same place twice. And now you can find it every fucking day.
Shout out Roy Choi, man. That dude is literally, whether he knew it or not, and dude built the framework for it. Before
Roy Choi, it wasn't food trucks in LA. It was called roach coaches. We had them forever.
There was a stigma.
Yeah. And it was like something you got on a movie set. It was like, let me just get a breakfast burrito. It's going to be awesome. Cool. But it was like a diner on wheels. And
exactly. You have a
really bad Mexican food, because it wasn't always the best.
No. And, again, you have a moving source of revenue. So it's like, let's just crank this shit out as fast as possible. But then again, it's like, there's something there. Someone was like, I'm sure it was a huge like group of people that didn't even know they were all on the same page.
Right.
But it's like, yo, dudes, like, let's.
My favorite thing that I heard about him is the fact is it might have been one of the episodes of, with Jon Favreau, or it might have been a Bourdain thing. I mean, he's been on so much TV that I was just literally watching the latest Jon Favreau episodes, and I was like, dude, I feel like I know Roy, and I've never met the guy because he's on so much that he's such a personal guy. You like feel like I know this dude. Anyways, he was taking going to some like food truck pop-up thing like in Venice, and he made this comment. He goes, I can't hang on my trucks anymore because the crews are so tight, and they have adapted the food to make it in their way. And I'm like, imagine that chef that yelled at you.
Which one?
Whatever one, right? Imagine whatever chef you worked for that yelled at you because he wanted things done his way.
Right.
To ever say, well, I can't work in my kitchen because these guys have done it there. Like, that's insane.
That's erotic. And that's honestly erotic to me.
And it shows where he's at mentally in this business, where he's like, I've given them the recipe, and truck A may be slightly better at making something.
Jazz, baby. It's jazz.
It's like Danny's Tacos downtown. There's one Danny's Tacos I go for carnitas. There's another one I go for pastor. There's another one I go for asada fry. Like, it's they all do it differently. It's but they're all.
Shout out Danny off Maine for that late night good.
I miss that guy. He used to come into Arson House all the time and get hammered, dude.
I remember I was bar backing or whatever the fuck that was. All I know is I had a great fucking time despite the circumstances in my personal life during all that. But fuck, that dude came in and you're just like, cool, I know where I'm eating tonight.
Yeah.
It's like, you take care of the homie. You take care of the homie and you fucking take care of him.
Yeah. Dude, I remember I went for like 2 tacos and he threw a burrito and a plate of nachos at me. And I was like, literally, I don't know what I'm going to do with this food. I just want to.
No. He's like, no. He literally he puts it in your hand, just like closes it. He's like, now it's squid. He's like, no, I don't care. No mames, cabrón.
No mames. Gina hates that, dude. She's like, that's not a Mexican thing. And I used to joke with her. I go, it kind of is, because I learned it from actual Mexicans from Mexico City at summer camp, the no mommies. She's like, it's such, she says it's such an LA thing. And I go, nah, well, this was in Pennsylvania and these kids were from Mexico City. So
I don't entirely know that I'm allowed to speak on it, but as a white boy from the barrio, well, it's not even necessarily a barrio, but just like how's there in Adams?
Yeah, it's Eastish LA,
Yeah, mid city, baby, all day. Mid city. That's where I'm from. I'm very proud of it. And I will live there one day, although I can't afford it right now, which is really fucking annoying. But man, no mames all day.
No mames. She's gonna hear it. She's gonna fucking hate it. But all right, so okay, I'm hopeful things change. I think we need to change up our industry in a lot of ways, and it's too long to get into.
You got sidetracked.
It's fine. It happens. I think, look, man, let's get Parisian in the best way. Let's have people eating on the streets. Let's have people enjoying the fact that it's grab and go. Like the best part about Paris, if you're lucky enough to go to Paris, it's not all fine dining restaurants. It's cafes where you get coffee and a drink and your baguettes from around the corner. It's a cliche, but people fucking still do it. Like I was walking.
It is French.
I was walking 5 blocks. I saw 20 people with baguettes coming home from work. Like it's a cliche, but they still fucking do it. Grab and go is the way to go, man. That's what I say.
Fuck yeah, dude. And that's the thing too. My exit from the kitchen obviously went to a bar setting, but then turning that into, okay, how am I going to cook? It's like, okay, what are my terms? And then I figured that out, like what I was okay with. Now it's like, shit, dude, I am not old by any means, but I get fucking tired, man.
It happens.
And like how, right? No, oh shit, fuck. But like now it's like now the equation in my head is like how can I sandbag myself enough, because I know I'm talented enough. Mm-hmm. I have the wherewithal with myself and my own soul now to congratulate myself enough that like, okay, I'm talented enough to like do this. People will eat this food because it's fucking good. And I really do believe it. But it's like, grab and go, baby. Like like let's prep as close to fucking, hopefully not 24 hours, but like give you a day in advance to just get everything done right. And everything that you're prepping makes sense to the point that all you need to do is just reheat it a little bit, slap it together with love, care, and integrity, and just fucking soul, and that like just intangible LA flair. Like, and then just like pass it off in exchange for money, dude. That's fucking sick.
I got one better than you. I think a lot of cooks a lot of chefs, not cooks, because the cooks are capable of doing this. I think a lot of chefs need to rethink the way that they serve their food to people. I think selling somebody a high-end TV dinner that they have to then go home and reheat. So something that's not frozen, but maybe cooked 20% of the way, chilled down, you throw it in the oven and you actually cook it at home. Like, and that isn't as simple as just taking your dish and not cooking it all the way. Like there is factors, there's, fats congealing. There's a bunch of shit that can go wrong and it still wants to look presentable on the plate. I think that's going to be the key. I think that while, yes, people are craving to go back out, I still think a lot of people are going to go, hey man, I've been enjoying this home thing and I can go out maybe once a week instead of 3 times a week now. But I still want to support like the places I like. So how do I get that experience at home? So, I don't know.
That's the $1 million question, I guess.
I could be wrong, but I feel like I'm not. And I feel like, ghost kitchens are becoming more of a thing.
Right.
I mean, if that was a way that I can invest actual dollars in, I would, because I do believe that.
You looking to invest, bro? Come on.
I mean, I'm looking to buy a house, so that's first and foremost. Once I have the house, then I can invest everything. But right now, I got to rub pennies together.
I'll make your house.
I got that. I'm living that welfare money, bro. The unemployment.
Love that.
It's being a bar manager. I don't got a fucking bar. This shit's closed. COVID.
God damn it.
Living that COVID life, bro. Why do you think I started this thing?
And dude, here's the thing. You do well. I like this.
Thank you.
This is fun.
All right, man. I'm just right now. I've been just inviting friends of mine on and talk. So it's kind of like, it's one of those things like, I understand why people stream video games. You're going to play video games. You might as well stream it and get people's money out of it. It's like, try. And if not, you're still fucking playing video games. Who the fuck cares? Same thing. I'm going to talk to you anyways. Might as well record it and see what comes of it, man.
Love that.
All right, dude. I had a blast, man. It's been too long. Let's go grab a beer and a shot at the Escondine, their fucking open space al fresco parking lot. By the way, them and the Mermaid are fucking killing it downtown.
Oh, fucking so pumped.
If you live in LA, I know it's not my whole idea.
Say this.
If you live in LA, you need to go to Escondite and the Mermaid 100%. And actually experience what it's like with this alfresco done absolutely right. Like restaurants, I'm on a sidewalk or in a parking lot. These guys got creative and they're killing it.
Oh my God. What is it? 412 Boyd Street? Right off of fucking
it's on San Pedro, bro, between 3rd and
San
4th
baby.
And Skid Row's
finest. I swear to fucking Christ, dude. I think about that spot all day long. If I wasn't working at the butcher shop as much as I am, I would be getting day drunk there. And happily so.
Just text me. We'll go.
Done. Fucking
it's great.
I'm so goddamn down.
We'll go drink on the pickup truck.
Oh my God.
Again, if you don't know, they took the bed of a pickup truck and just put boards on it, and now it's a table.
It was while it was open too, before we sign off, while it was open at full capacity, pre-pandemic, this truck was ostensibly a fucking garbage truck for people's cigarette butts and empty beer cans.
It's Brian's truck. It runs.
It fucking runs. You knew Brian was in town when you heard it. Yeah. You heard it down the street. At least at Mumford, you could have the other fucking big ass window looking at beautiful Boyd Street, and then you just fucking the most handsome scumbag I've ever met in my entire life. I love that man with all my heart and asshole.
Dude,
I swear to God,
he's the hardest working. He's the hardest working man in the industry. Everyone out there at the
100%.
Escondite is. Escondite is
100%.
privately owned, and right now, maybe 3 minus the kitchen, maybe 3 staff members, and it's just the owners running doubles like crazy. I think he's like on 220 days in a row or some shit. The guy's a fucking machine. Shout out to Brian.
Love him. Love that man.
Cool, man. Hey, you know what? This was a good one, man. I really enjoyed this one from personal note.
I'm so happy to hear that.
So let's bring back something I haven't done in a minute. The show's called Corner. Adam, give me your best corner.
Corner.
That's it. Perfect. Just low key corner.
I want to go corner sharp, corner hot, corner watch your ass. Coming in hot, corner.
Get the fuck out of the way. Adam, thank you so much for coming on the show. Underscore broke chef, correct?
Yes. Shout out to here's a really quick funny thing. I forgot to put the underscore in. I was telling someone to do it, and it was just they however they reached out to me like on the comments, and then the actual broke chef, fucking legend. You're just like, wrong broke chef, dude. Fucking you forgot the underscore. And there was like, dude, broke chef family. It's like, absolutely. Like, so shout out to that cat.
I gotta reach out. I gotta reach out and get him.
You have to get him on the show. Dude, he's a fucking legend too.
Well, dude, yes, drink soon. Escondite. Guys, go give Adam a follow. Underscore broke chef. Make sure you got that underscore in there. What's the name of the butcher shop again? Did I suck?
Standings Butcher.
Standings Butchering in Mid-City, you said?
So that's La Brea and Melrose.
Perfect.
Area.
Go check it out. Quality cuts a beat. Support local butchers.
Please do.
You know, pay a little extra money. You get a better quality meat you'll get over at your local Albertsons.
It ain't cheap to just throw that out there. But, you know, we all should love ourselves more, and you know, if we can afford it, do it. Come by, and there's ways to leave the shop without spending a bag of loot. You know what I mean? Yeah. So like, come by, have a conversation, call ahead if you want. Fuck it, dude. Like, we're here for you guys. I love you, Eric.
I love you, man. It's been too long.
It's that handsome face. Oh, fucker.
All right. That wraps up another episode of Corner Memoirs of the Service Industry. I've been Eric, as always. Thank you, Adam, for joining us. If you like the show, please leave us a thumbs up, a like, a comment. Give us a subscribe. If you're listening to the audio realm, rate and comment. That helps all the way. Guys, thank you very much. Until next time, I will see you later.